So each and every one of you has heard this saying before. I'm almost certain of it. In fact, I am certain of it. But I am almost certain that you don't know who said it. Henry Ford, the creator of Ford Automotives, said, whether you believe you can do something or whether you believe you can't do something, you are correct. And I just thought that was like a well-known saying for a long time, and I didn't think it came from anyone like quite as like noteworthy. But today, when I was listening to Napoleon Hill success audio, like auto suggestion audio, and he said that, I was like, hold on a second, let me play that back. He was saying it in terms of the relation to, he says, our reality doesn't bend to our fate. Our reality bends to our expectations, to our assumptions. So what he was saying was, instead of analyzing coulda, shoulda, woulda, looking back on what you could have become, he said, instead of doing that, instead, what you should do is repeat to yourself that everything that you have done, you must assume that things are going to work out. So that doesn't mean that you have to continue making the mistakes, but assume that everything's going to work out. Stop assuming failure. Most of us are going into situations, like Henry Ford says, assuming that we can't, and we're correct. So we have a lot of backlog, relevant data in our brain telling us, nope, 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 nope. You know, that's probably why you're watching this video, so that you can improve. If you were winning at everything right now, I doubt that you'd be on YouTube looking at self-help content, right? But what Napoleon Hill was saying is, even if your life has been crap up until now and you're not proud of it, like me, assume that all of that happened so that you could become the reality, the version of you that you are today. Like Owen Cook says, not to stay in a bad situation, but it's not so bad to stay in a situation just long enough to where it sticks forever and you'll never want to go back there again. Hitting the rock bottom, because if you don't hit the rock bottom, then you're going to stay in that space of, oh, I'm kind of okay with this. And then before you know it, you're 50 or 60 and your dreams have gone past you because you were kind of okay with what was happening. Make today the reality check that you need. Even if you haven't hit rock bottom yet, let's say you're kind of in that mundane stage. This is the rock bottom. The fact that you're in that mundane in between, you're not growing, you're making the same money that you made last year, you get the same results that you're getting last year, the same metrics of your social skills barometers are not hitting any different levels here. You're not going Super Saiyan 2, you're saying Super Saiyan 1. How do you get to the next level? Well, two things. One, hyperbolic time chamber. You go into deep focus, deep work, as Sid says, Owen's apprentice. He goes, you want to take at least 4 to 5 hours and do your deep work, reverse engineer what you know that your version of you needs to be doing, and then you go out and you work on your social skills. I like to call it your adventure time. You go out there and you make sure that you let loose a little bit and you connect to real reality, but you still need deep work. That's the hyperbolic time chamber. Training. Two, kind of like how Goku or Naruto or any main character just kind of looks out and goes, I assume I'm gonna win. They could be at the like Naruto, sinking in the depths of the ocean, and he's still thinking, I got this, I'm gonna do this. Sasuke. You know what I'm saying? So you have to assume he's not going, oh man, I'm gonna lose. Oh man, I can't do it. He's not saying that. It's the mental talk, that social chatter, that mental chatter that you have inside of your brain. So one, your skill level has to be up there high enough to where you can be on autopilot mode. Like when a boxer's in a fight, he's not thinking about how he's standing, how he's punching. I mean, maybe a little bit, right? But he's flowing. So that two, the main drive, the main mechanism can take over, which is the auto-suggestion, that mental chatter that you have. That's who really wins. There's the baseline reality of the skill set that you have, and then there's two, what we like to call as heart. It's like Apollo versus Rocky. Rocky just assumed he was gonna do it. It was his chance. Apollo had all the skill in the tool belt, but Rocky still won. Why? Because assumptions bend reality. But if you combine the two, then you're all the more dangerous, because I mean, you can go around sitting there manifesting all day long, but you still need to do stuff in the real world. I could think about good vibes and stuff all day long, but I still need to come out here and do this video. This video can't just be selfishly for me. It also has to be thought out how it can help you, the audience, the viewer, which is actually the part that I'm figuring out, is how to bring the expressive value and transfer it to the communicative value to where it's potent, you know? And that's when you become good. But you have to be amateur before you're a professional. No one just goes straight to the professionals. You just don't, okay? Even Jesus, and I like to look at Jesus as the perfect example. He lived a very, very, very quiet life up until 30. He lived a humble life his whole life, but he lived a very quiet life, carpenter's life, up until 30. Then he began his ministry. My friend Jonathan said it's because at 30 years old, that's when it was the law that you could start your ministry at the time. But still, the point stands. He took his time, developed the foundation beneath, but he had the silent whereabout the whole time, just like you can. You can start on ground level, and you're building your skill level. Like if you need to build your muscle, you can know you're gonna get jacked, but you still need to do the basic push-ups today. You still need to drink the 30-gram protein shake. You can't skip those steps. So Henry Ford, I had to reestablish myself with this story because everyone knows the name Ford Automotives. Everyone knows the name Henry Ford. Everyone even knows that quote that I say. I've heard so many people say that to me throughout the years. Well, if you think you can't, then you can't. You know, and I'd be in situations where I'm sitting there analyzing, and trying to be realistic, which is, it's still smart to say what you're thinking, right? But then people would shut it down and be like, no, you need to be positive because if you think you can't, then you can't. Nam, nam, nam. Whatever. Okay, don't let anyone tell you that. You can still say stuff out loud and it's not being negative. What I believe that they're failing to refer to here is Napoleon Hill's other mind hack, which is, well, I'm going to say it now for our benefit, but this is what I'm currently working on. Staying silent when it comes to doing your goals. Why? Because you're seeking the applause of the conversation. You want someone to be proud of you, of what you're saying, before you've actually done anything. You're actually showing a lack of faith in talking about it. You're showing that you lack that you're going to do it. If you really thought you were going to do it, you would zip your lip and start doing the work. When Kobe Bryant wants to go shoot his practice shots and get in the gym, or LeBron James, he doesn't go talk to his cousin and go, I'm going to go in the gym tomorrow morning he doesn't waste the mental energy on that. He just does it. So you have to be before you do, then you can have. Everyone's trying to have the result or the recognition before they do anything. And then while they do something, they think automatically they're going to be it. You have to be it. And like that point I was just going to go to, Henry Ford, when I reestablished myself to this story, he was laughed at in the automotive industry. He was trying to make an automotive car that was usable for the average consumer. And people were like, you can't do that, can't be done. And so while everyone else sat there and considered and talked about it, he got to working on the industry line. And he made it work. Just like Thomas Edison, when he was making the light bulb, he didn't go to the newspaper every time and report, I found another way that didn't work, but I'm gonna do it. He didn't do that. He just silently worked on it. And then once he did it, then he said, this is how I did it. So you can talk about it after you've done it. You wanna write a book? Write the dang book, then talk about the book. Stop talking about the book when you're 20 to 40 pages into writing the book. You need to use that energy that you're using to talk about it to write the book. It's like if you're going to train for an MMA fight or a boxing fight and you're talking about it all day long. It's okay to talk with it with your coaches and then go in and implement it. But if you're talking about it all day long, then your brain is being fooled into thinking that you're doing something. When we talk about business or about our future plans, we think that we're doing something. You're not. You only need to have that conversation with yourself. When you have the conversation with other people, they don't see it as vividly as you do. And it's not that, oh, I'm going to make them understand. And I get that. You want to make them understand so that they can maybe help you even. Don't do it. They can't understand. They're not in your mind. Even if you got out a sheet of paper, drew it all out, 1 to 3, all the way through, A to Z, they're not going to understand it. And if they did understand it, then they would try to poke logical holes in it. Not on purpose, but doubt shows up as logic sometimes. Sometimes you don't always need to know logically how you're going to get there. Just do it. Think about everything great. Again, back to Henry Ford or Thomas Edison. He wasn't consulting with other people. Think I can do this, man? He was just flow mode. You got to get in a rhythm, right? Like, think about basketball practice. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. Think every 5 minutes they're stopping and talking about it? No, they're working up a sweat. They're getting a rhythm going. When you want to write a book, do you stop every 5 minutes, have a conversation with your roommate? No, you put it in your headphones. You lock in. When I'm making this video right now, do I stop every 5 seconds, turn to that guy and start having a conversation? No, that wouldn't make any sense for him. He'd be like, what the heck are you doing? Thought you were doing that. It wouldn't make any sense for you guys watching. Wouldn't make any sense for me editing later on, and my camera would turn off. Multiple reasons why, but yet it makes so much sense in this example, but when you are doing your work and you're at home and you're doing this or that, whatever it is you're working on, you do it for 10, 20 minutes and then you screw off and go do something else. That's because you're expecting failure. Back to our original point. So your actions are going off your identity, what you expect, what you assume. You assume it's not going to matter anyway what you're doing, so you scatter. Anyone who scatters their energy like a light, it just generally lights up the area. If you want to burn a hole through something, you have to laser focus. This is hard for me because I like to do videos, I like to do music, I like to write, I like to do business. A lot of stuff. Can't scatter it. Have to focus it. Laser focus. And especially when you're in the moment doing it. Us men have this big problem when we want to solve the problems. We'll be at work, right? Me, for example, I'll speak on my own behalf. You're at work and you're thinking about all these other problems in the back of your head, like a backlog of information going on. Shut that off, laser focus in on what's happening right now. That way you can actually get your task at hand done and establish what you're trying to do. Then that extended focus that you just worked on will bleed over, right? And feed your other tasks. Either it feeds you or it bleeds you, like Napoleon Hill was saying. Sometimes rhymes help it stick, right? Either it bleeds you or it feeds you. So what do you need, dude? So ask yourself, what do I need to assume to be true to make happen? Then simply assume it. You must repeat what you want to become until you become it. What you repeat, you will become. Like when we were babies, how did you learn to walk? How did you learn to talk? If I was born in Asia, if I was born in Japan, I would be speaking Japanese right now. Not because I'm a magical baby, but because of babies learn through repetition. So if you want to change your thought habits, your thought loops, the patterns going on in your brain, you need to change what you're repeating. Number one, quickest way to do that is to get around online people. I like to recommend Owen Cook, obviously. Jesus Christ. Read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Please. The Gospels. Hello. But also, YouTubers, long-form content you can watch or listen in the background while you're working. Owen Cook, Julian Blanc, goes as JulienHimself on YouTube. Gary Vaynerchuk, Elmer O. Hurst. A lot of these people are higher vibrations. When you listen to them, they're going to unlock Napoleon Hill, Henry Ford, Earl Nightingale, Bob Proctor. They're going to unlock different ways of thinking, giving you permission to think like this. Because right now, you don't give yourself permission to think like this. So once you see other people thinking like this, you'll go, oh, I can think like that because they can think like that. Just like when you're a baby and you see your mom yelling at your dad or something, now you're like, oh, now I can yell at dad. It's just how the kids learn. Why do you think kids say cuss words? They don't even know what it is because they're repeating what they saw. So if you hung out with someone that made ice cream all day, how much would you know about caramel fudge ice cream? You'd know quite a bit for no reason, just because your friend Tom knows a lot about caramel fudge ice cream and you picked it off the top of his head. Bloop. Everyone go check out Napoleon Hill, auto-suggestion. Napoleon Hill was saying auto-suggestion is not a game, because what you repeat, you become. So put on Napoleon Hill audio. That's where I would start. That had the most potent effect for me. Then also, if you want to watch something while you're eating or chilling, Owen Cook free tour. That's a good start. And then you can start seeing how they word it, how they do it. And then also, don't forget to have fun and do it yourself. Because remember, you got to assume that you can do it. So you can't over-validate how everyone else is doing it. Don't do it with me either. Don't try to be like, I'm going to copy how Gabriel's doing it. You can take some aspects from it, take a lot of aspects from it. Hey, go copy me verbatim at first if you need to figure out the flow, or whoever. But then trust the voice as you feed it, and your other self will give you ideas if you trust your other self. But you have to start feeding it with healthier thoughts first. Because right now, yourself is not healthy. Yourself is just scrawny, deprived looking, soul sucking thing trying to take over your mind, body, dude. So what you need to do is destroy it with laser potent focus, laser beam it, special beam cannon, and then it will regrow from ashes into something better. Little butterfly. Like the video, comment what you want me to talk about next. Napoleon Hill auto-suggestion audio, and we out of here.